programs, they're going to shop, they're going to work, so you might as well give them a driver's certificate so they can at least buy insurance, liability insurance for their cars. So the more you know about the issue that you're arguing, the better it is for you so you can respond either way. Does that help, or?
Yeah, I think bottom line is knowing issues is very important, I guess. Here.
Any questions? Any questions about how the day is going to go for us?
Sister, yeah, I have a question, especially for the level of the participation of the youth. As you know, mashallah, the topic of your presentation is we need to enhance the level of the participation, and especially the most important things, our youth are the backbone of the nation, especially in this society. And in the light of your remarkable experience in the different big organizations, can you please highlight that how can we open the doors of the minds and the doors of heart of our youth, that they should know that what is the important thing, and they can raise their voice to the legislators and to the big offices, and they should participate in office in future. I mean, how can we build that vision in their mind? They say, oh, after completing my college or university, I have to achieve that goal. This is my question to you. Thank you.
Very good question. And maybe Dana can help me answer that, actually, since she's a youth. I've done a lot of work with youth in the Arab community, in the Muslim community, in general, through ICRR. It's really hard, I think, to actually understand what's going to move a youth person to be more engaged. One thing that I've noticed, working with the various youth, is that the youth in the city, those who grow up in the city, are much more active than the suburban youth. Am I right, guys? Is that right? It's about knowing what interests them, I think. But it's also about them knowing how important it is for them to participate. I mean, how many of you plan to go to college? All the youth that plan to go to college, raise your hand. That's wonderful, because if you want to go to college, one way to encourage a lot of these youth to get involved is, by what we said earlier. Being a Senate page on Lobby Day, you can put down your college application. These issues, all matter to us as a community as well. Another thing is, Muslims are known not to be active. Right? How many of you have heard that before? Muslims aren't active. Muslims don't care about what happens in the U.S., right, guys? Do you care about stuff that happens here in the U.S.?
Yes, we do care.
You do?
Yes, we do.
Well, let's show our elected officials that we do care. You guys want to go to college, you want to go to good colleges, inshallah colleges like Harvard, right? And colleges, whether it's a state college or a private college, as well as Ivy League schools, they all look at things beyond your grades. So you can be a straight A student and apply to Harvard, you're not necessarily going to get accepted, right? It's about how active you are. Even high schools these days, private high schools, when you apply to them, they look at how active you are in your community internally and how active you are outside of your community. So what do you care about specifically? What are you doing to earn your right to go to that school, this Ivy League school? It could be UFC, Northwestern, Harvard, or Princeton. You have to show them that you are not going to be a follower, but that you are actually a leader in your community and beyond your community. That's what they care about, as youth, what do you care about? What are some of the issues that you care about the most? Young people?
Video games.
Video games. Video games, iPod Touch, Facebook, right? Those are the things that we normally think about when we're young. Do we think about, well, what am I going to do when I go to college or beyond, when I get out of college? What do I want to do as an adult? Right now, we're not thinking about that. A lot of our young people don't think about, beyond college, what do I want to do? How much money do I want to make? Right? What am I really passionate about? What is it that I want to study so I can become something when I'm older? And I can be a leader, going beyond just being an engineer or a doctor or in direct services or advocacy or even being a lobbyist, you know. What do I want to do beyond that? How do I want to represent the Muslim community in Illinois and in the U.S.? Because everything that we do, you know, in our profession, in our personal life, we're representing the Muslim community. I'm honestly really just sick of hearing how, you know, the Muslim community is not engaged. The Muslim community doesn't care. Our Muslim youth are oblivious to what's happening in the real world. That's what I hear. I'm not saying that's true. I'm saying that's what we hear. So how do we get our young people to be engaged? Dana, do you want to hop out with that one a little bit?
Sure. I was going to say a couple of things. I know that last year when we went down as a school, most of the kids, you know, they went around with the teachers, like Ahlam said, to go try to see the legislators, tell them why they're here, stuff like that. But me, as like personally, when I was in the Senate chambers and I was down, I was like on the actual floor. I was with my senator, but they were up there. They were just looking down. They were just trying to hear on what's going on. I was actually being part of that Muslim Action Day. I was showing them how we as youth, we care for the future. We don't just care about what's going to happen now. Like Ahlam said, it's not about just the grades. It's about how much you engage yourself in your community and how much you show that you care about, you know, the challenges that we face as Muslims also. And you have to show the legislators and the senators that we as youth, we as Muslims, we as hijabis, we care for what's happening. We're not oppressed. We're not at home doing nothing. No, we're going out and we're trying to find, you know, what's happening out there. You know, like she said, what are the bills that they're trying to pass? You know, what are the positive negatives? Like I said about the ex-con one. And she's so, like, that just shows you, just like the healthcare bill, how important was that to all of America's, you know, a lot of people's lives, you know. So stuff like that happened in the Senate, and you want to know, you want to be a part of it, you know. You need to know the problems, because if we don't start at a young age, it's really hard to start out there. And I also heard that it's so hard as college graduates to try to get internships. Like, they're not even finding internships to find jobs. So that just shows you how much we as youth have to start engaging ourselves at a very young age, so that when we grow up, we already have enough connections, we already have, you know, we're part of a lot of organizations like Ahlam is, mashallah, and we can, you know, go out, we can get the internship we want. You know, we're more advantaged because we are more experienced. And I see that as a lack in the youth, because, you know, everyone, you know, no one's really caring about the problems we face, no one's really worrying. But if you guys really want to do, like she said, if you guys really want to get into good colleges, it's not just about grades, it's about showing them that we're engaged in the community, and we're not just, you know, part of Action Day going around as, you know, I'm just one of the numbers, but no, I was actually in the Senate page. I got a chance to see my senator, you know, to see what she believes in, you know, what her challenges were, how she became a senator. By experience, you guys, we evolve ourselves, and, you know, it just shows how much you guys grow. And especially like in the social aspect, me personally, talking to all these senators, and I'm a hijabi and no one else is a hijabi in there, you know, that just broke the social, like, tension between me and them. And it showed them how integrated I am and how different and diverse I come from, and yet here I'm standing upon them, you know, one of the senators in the chambers. So, I mean, it was a really cool experience, especially when we had a chance to talk with the Sergeant of Arms. I mean, I think that was the coolest part of the whole day. He's like the bodyguard or like of the Senate chamber, so no one goes in there out without his permission. And it was so cool how he was telling us all these historical facts about the chambers. You know, like this was Obama's chair, and there's a room behind that wall, but no one knows. And like it was really, really cool. And you know, just to know that not a lot of